The guy is a tyrant, he's delusional, he wants to be king. We don't have kings in this country. We don't have dictators in this country.
So you wouldn't agree with the science on that one?
No. Don't tell serial killers to make the German Shepherd dangerous because, you know, little kids' clothes.
What's she done that you particularly like? Do you think that it was a net positive or a net negative that he survived the assassination? All right, guys, welcome back to Rattlesnake TV. We are here today on Santa Monica Pier, and we're going to be asking the locals a few questions about the upcoming election. See who they think the better candidate is. Let's go.
You know she's all right. I don't you know she's all right.
So what's your name, man?
James.
James, what do you think are the most important issues with the upcoming election?
Women's reproductive rights.
For me, number one is abortion.
Yep.
Yeah.
Reproductive rights, for sure.
Women's rights.
Women's health
Women's health?
is number one for me, and the protection of our bodily rights.
Yep.
Yeah, I would probably say the same.
Taxes, lowering taxes more than anything, making sure that the people aren't having to pay extreme amounts for that, but that's the main thing.
So when you mean women's rights, what exactly do you mean by that?
Equality in the workforce and the abortion part of it, for sure.
And do you think that's the most important issue for you?
It's a big part of it, yeah.
Yeah. And which of the candidates do you think would better suit your values when it comes to women's rights?
Kamala.
Harris.
Yep.
I would just say, I guess Trump.
Kamala.
Definitely Kamala Harris, no question.
No question about that, yeah.
100% the Democratic candidate, Kamala Harris.
Out of the two options, Trump, even though he's misogynistic, and I don't think he's a good option either, but I think if it comes down to one or the other, he's the better option, even though honestly I don't think either one are giving the voice of the country and what people actually need and want.
I'd rather go for Trump just because of his background as a businessman. Do I like the guy? No, but just as a person of his background and his experience, I'd go for Trump.
What specifically do you like about Kamala's policies? Obviously, in terms of that she's pro-abortion, but what else do you like about Kamala?
That she's a well-spoken, intelligent woman that cares about everyone's human rights.
Do you think that she has a good track record in politics?
Absolutely.
Her record is abysmal at best.
What's she done that you particularly like?
Specifically, it's what she hasn't done.
She is seen as a person who is reasonable, who will listen to both sides of the issue and then make a choice that's going to be in the best interest of the United States, but also of the world, of our environment, of the rule of law.
She hasn't done anything that would put her in a bad light.
Oh, are you kidding me?
What about Trump? Do you think he's done any good things?
Absolutely not.
Is there anything that you could think of conceivably that would make you want to support Donald Trump?
No. I don't know, he changes up so much, it's really hard for me to say that he has anything in particular that is concrete, like any policies that he really believes in. Like growing up in Palm Beach, Florida, he lives there, and you know, we've like dealt with him our whole life. He used to have different stances than he has now, so I don't really know if I can say I agree with anything because he's changed up so much, you know?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Is there any restrictions you can think of at all when it comes to the issue of abortion that you would support?
No.
Would there be any limits that you would put on abortion in your own worldview?
No, like let them choose. It's not for us to decide like what people do with their bodies.
New vaccination requirements. This is not about freedom or personal choice.
And so what about post-birth abortions?
That wouldn't be an abortion, that'd be something else.
So if there was a situation where the baby was born prematurely and the mother intended to have an abortion, and then do you think that it would be okay for the doctor and the mother to make that decision amongst themselves about what they do with the baby?
But that's like not for me to decide like what they should do with that. So I mean, again, I'm not a medical professional, so I shouldn't be making those answers. It's up to them.
I think that it's important that, of course, women have a choice, but I also think it's important that babies have a voice and are heard as well.
How about if the abortion goes wrong and then the baby is born and alive?
I mean, if they're trying, it's really based on like kind of medical needs of like what's going on. So if they deem it necessary for for them to do that, then they should do that. If they don't, then you know what I mean. If for whatever reason, like
the mother chooses, if the mother says she doesn't want that, she just wants to leave the baby.
I mean, that's again up to the situation at hand. You know what I mean, what's going on there. I can't say like either way of like what should or shouldn't be done in a situation that I'm not a part of.
Yeah, no, fair enough. And how about like third trimester, like late term abortions? You'd say that if that's the mother's choice and it should the woman's right to choose completely.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you aware that Tim Walz, who Kamala's running mate is, signed a bill that stopped doctors from saving babies who are born in botched abortions?
No, I did not know that.
Would that change your mind about them at all?
No.
What about if an abortion was to take place 2 days before the baby is to be scheduled to come out of the mother's womb?
I would not be okay with that.
So what would be the limitations? Because before you said that there would be no limitations.
Okay, so when I'm talking abortion, I'm talking like fetus, zygote, zygote before like I would consider it a baby.
At what point do you think that the baby becomes a human life?
I don't know the exact math on that.
Well, would it change your mind, hypothetically, if I told you that there's a massive scientific consensus that says that life begins at conception?
No, because like that's a hypothetical situation that doesn't exist. That's just not a scientific fact. So no, like it's just not a thing.
What if I was to tell you that that is actually a scientific fact, that there is a consensus amongst biologists that life begins at conception?
But that's not how I see it, so.
So you wouldn't agree with the science on that one?
No.
Okay, so nothing at all could change your mind about liking Donald Trump. Is there anything that you can find endearing about him at all?
No.
I will have a 40 in one hand, a little kiss close in the other, and I'll be like, don't tell serial killers to make the German Shepherd dangerous, because, you know, little kids close and German Shepherds, like, think about it. You think I want serial killers to know that if the German Shepherd is dangerous, you know?
I think that that's a really important with the upcoming election, is the German Shepherds and serial killers.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. Quick interruption, guys. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. And also, if you enjoy seeing these sorts of videos where I go and hit the streets and ask people questions, then let me know. I'll be reading your thoughts below. Let's get back to the video. So you think that Trump's business experience and the fact that he's gone out and done it in the real world has a bit of better understanding of the real world than Kamala, perhaps?
Yes.
Yeah. And you think that when Trump was in office for those 4 years, how do you think he did?
I felt like he did semi-decent. I mean, for the community of African Americans, he didn't do too much, which is a shame. And I think it's 100% hypocritical. But for the sense of business-wise and help the economy, he did a lot better than people had hoped for.
Yeah. And has being an African American and being a Republican and Trump supporter, do you find that difficult to have these conversations with people?
Yes, definitely, because people assume and they obviously don't know and they don't research. So because of that, they jump conclusions before getting to know a person.
I'd say the economy is always pressing, but especially now. I think if Trump was in office, especially right now after everything that happened with COVID and inflation, I think it would be really bad. So.
Yeah, the cost of living.
Yep. And how about the border?
Just in general?
Yeah.
I think definitely the Republicans and Trump have made it seem like a bigger issue than it actually is.
A border shutdown in El Paso, Texas, as hundreds force their way onto the Paso del Norte International Bridge. Men, women, and children pushing Mexican soldiers out of the way in an attempt to enter the U.S.
Please disperse. Nothing to see here.
But I do think it's an issue, and it's an ongoing issue that we should all be addressing, no matter our political party.
I feel like we should definitely worry more about at home than the border. Like, I feel like that is, I mean, it's an important issue, yes, but when we can't deal with our own problems within our own country, that I feel like is something that should be the main focus.
Do you believe that having hundreds of thousands of people coming across the southern border affects the domestic life of Americans?
Not towards southern border. Are we talking about
just illegal immigration?
Immigration. Honestly, I don't think it's that bad, but it can turn to something bad if it's not carefully handled, but I don't think so much.
Like, read a book, like, instead of like, you know, being like, discriminating other cultures because they're different than yourselves.
I read a book a day. I read a book a day not to show off. It's, again, about the knowledge.
I believe people should pick up a book. Like, for example, like myself, like if I talk to like people who are doing meth, I will, I don't have a problem with immigration.
Would you say the idea would be to stop illegal immigration?
Not necessarily. Like, I mean, I think like a lot of the people that come over here, I mean, there are absolutely like bad apples that come through, but I think for a lot of people, like a lot of people are like generally good people that want to do better for their families, and I think a lot of us in that situation would probably do the same. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, their situation isn't as easy as ours is in America, and so they're just trying to make a better life for themselves. And I should feel like there's a lot of good people that we don't give a chance to because we just claim that as illegal, but they're hardworking. I think a lot of people that come here are want to be here generally are harder working than a lot of people that I know that have always been here. They appreciate it more. They understand it. They kind of love being here. They appreciate this country in a way that that we don't understand because we've never had to flee for our lives.
You said you prefer Kamala Harris. What are the main driving factors that will be persuading you to vote for Kamala Harris?
As a woman and as the daughter of a minority and of an immigrant, I would in never good conscience be able to vote for Donald Trump.
Everybody coming in is going to vote Democrat.
And so for me to be able to see someone that looks like me from my type from my family, that's really special. Yeah. And to be able to see someone in power up there. So that's why I'll be voting for Kamala.
Yeah. So reproductive rights, she's a woman and she's also a minority, are some of the biggest issues for you guys, the reasons why you're voting for them?
She was always of Indian heritage, and she was only promoting Indian heritage. I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black.
What would it take for you guys to vote for Donald Trump?
What would it take?
Yeah.
It would take so much. He would have to change completely. I mean, I would never vote for Donald Trump, ever.
Is there anything that you can think of that at all that you like about Donald Trump or that you agree with him about?
Please remain seated with your doors closed as your eyes up to your full stop.
I can't think of one.
Is there anything that Donald Trump could do that would make you vote for him?
No, absolutely not. The guy is a tyrant. He's delusional. Donald Trump, and this is clear, I think, to everybody besides his supporters maybe, he's just looking out for himself. This is a power play. He wants to be king. We don't have kings in this country. We don't have dictators in this country.
Do you think it was kind of cool about when they shot him in the face, how he got up and said, fight, fight, fight?
No.
Do you think that it was a net positive or a net negative that he survived the assassination?
I mean, I don't wish him to die or anything like that. I mean, he was probably good for his base camp that he survived. I don't wish ill will upon him, you know what I mean? But I'm also I don't know, I'm
If it did hit him, it would have been just whatever.
I mean, it would have been tough, and his base would have rallied for him. He'd been a martyr. It would have been good for his base. I would have been indifferent to it.
Would there be anything that Donald Trump could do that would make you vote for him?
Oh no.
Nothing at all you can think of?
No, nothing.
Is there anything endearing or anything that you like about him, or anything that he's ever done that you like?
When he lost the election, I like that.
What about if he became the most pro-abortion president ever? You can have abortions whenever you want for whatever reason.
Even if he had great policies, I wouldn't stand behind him.
You know, obviously when Trump was president, things were a lot more affordable. The last 4 years have been tough for most people, so.
Do you think it's a little bit taboo for people, especially around here? Because we've done a lot of interviews today, and it's very, very Kamala Harris heavy. Do you think it's a little bit taboo in California for people to say that they are leaning towards Trump?
Most definitely.
What about the international global conflict? Do you think that that's a big issue?
Yes, it is, for sure.
And do you think that Trump or Kamala would do a better job at stopping the wars?
Kamala.
We overlook a lot of international policies and just international stuff in general in the U.S. We don't pay attention to it as much as we should. It's a big deal. Pulling out of Afghanistan was a big deal.
How about Ukraine and the war going on in Gaza as well? Would you prefer to see that not going on anymore? Would you prefer to see that?
100%. Everything should stop.
Yeah. And do you think that Donald Trump or Kamala Harris would be more likely to stop the war in Ukraine?
I think Kamala Harris. I mean, Trump says he has a relationship with Putin and all that, and that should make everybody a little bit uncomfortable.
Perhaps, do you think that there's any merit to the fact that Putin never invaded any parts of Ukraine whilst Trump was in office? Do you think that could be maybe the fact that Trump is so unpredictable was a factor as to why Putin didn't invade, or the relationship that he had with Trump?
Could be. It's not good enough for me to vote for him still.
Yeah. And how about wars? You mentioned before the world stage, your allies, etc. Who do you mean by your allies, and what do you think that Kamala Harris will do when it comes to stopping the wars or continuing the wars or whatever it is that you guys would like to see?
I think she's respected by our NATO partners, and so that's important to me, whereas Donald Trump wants to reduce our standing in NATO or eliminate our standing altogether with that. I also think that across Europe, but then also around the world, that she is seen as a person who is reasonable, who will listen to both sides of the issue and then make a choice that's going to be in the best interest of the United States, but also of the world, of our environment, of the rule of law.
You know, it's not going to be like George Bush going after Iraq when there was no evidence to go after them and fabricating something to start a war that lasted 20 years, killed many millions of people and cost trillions of dollars. Democrats are not going to do that.
Oh dear. Good. Oh. Poetry in motion. Okay guys, so that wraps up our video here today from Santa Monica. Very interested to know your thoughts below. If you are one of those wretched Trump supporters, were you at all swayed by the arguments put forth today in favor of Kamala Harris about abortion, and did that change your mind at all? Looking forward to reading your thoughts. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and if you want to watch another video, right here. Till next time, I'm Jake. This is RattlesnakeTV, keeping you armed and dangerous.